Arnold may be gone, but the series has to go on, and that's where Terminator Salvation comes in. This is definitely a very different type of entry in the series, and I gotta say, I had some pretty high hopes for it because I have to commend this movie. One for kind of branching off without its signature star, which of course would be Arnold Schwarzenegger, though he does sort of make a cameo in the movie. But two, in doing this new movie and kind of breaking from the formula is something that is full of a lot of potential, because I mean basically with the first three movies it's always kind of the same thing. We have Terminator coming in the future, trying to kill, and a protector trying to save, and all that kind of stuff. Chases, blah 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 blah. And while it worked great in the first two, not so much in the third. It's probably about time that they did something a little bit different, which I do absolutely commend this movie for branching into sort of uncharted territories. One thing that I really, really like about the previous movies is the flash forwards or flashbacks or whatever you can consider them to the future wars, especially in the second movie, where the movie opens with showing the whole future war and the hunter killers and the exoskeletons shooting their machine guns and battling and things like that. So to think a whole movie like that, Terminator Salvation, that'd be fucking awesome, wouldn't it? And part of it does sort of show that, but the movie definitely has some disappointing elements to it, where the movie's focus is actually on this one character played by Sam Worthington, who's a convict who kind of volunteered to be basically reprogrammed through his looks and personality into a machine. So a lot of what this movie is about this whole kind of existential crisis of a machine who thinks he's a human, which is kind of an interesting concept, but at the same time they don't explore it more than they have to, I guess. What we really want to see, and what I was really kind of hoping for in this movie, was to move forward with the plot and to show further battles in the future. If the human race cannot be saved in the past, what hope does it have in the future? So that's the interesting aspect to the potential of what this movie could do, and show John Connor as this great leader of the human resistance, which we haven't really seen before. Obviously, in the first movie, he's not even born yet. Second movie, he's just a kid. Third movie, he's just starting to rise to the occasion. So what I would want to see in a movie like this is to see exactly how John Connor operates, what makes him this great leader, basically, and the fact that Christian Bale, Batman, is in this movie playing John Connor. I think that's a stroke of casting genius. And for what it's worth, I think he's serviceable in the role. He definitely shows a more battle weary type of John Connor who's been in the war for a little bit. But maybe the biggest problem with this movie is that we don't really get a sense of why John Connor is such this great leader. Instead, it kind of opts for this plot, one with the Terminator who thinks is a human, and two with Kyle Reese, who of course appeared in the first movie, introducing him as a younger character. And what the movie all amounts to is like trying to create this sort of opposite kind of chase thing where they have to protect Kyle Reese and he has to stay alive, and that's really what it's all about. Keeping Kyle Reese alive so that he can go back into the future or back into the past and whatever, and make sure that John Connor is born, basically. So it's kind of like a weird kind of opposite to the first movie, which is kind of unfortunate, because that's really all it's about, just trying to seal the circle, basically, keep it contained, which is unfortunate. So the plot is kind of silly. When it comes to the action scenes, I definitely have to commend the special effects too. This is definitely better special effects territory than what we've seen in Terminator 3. I think the special effects are used to good advantage here. They do look realistic, and when it does come to CGI, I think it's used effectively here. But the action scenes aren't really that interesting or anything like that. And the thing is, the movie, they're there's so many moments in the movie where it just kind of drags on and on without action scenes, and it's like for this big, action extravaganza for what we expect from this type of series, it's actually kind of boring in a lot of places. So that was kind of a huge disappointment. Um, the most exciting thing about the movie is like seeing the ending, where they kind of bust out the Arnold doppelganger. They use really convincing CGI there, to um, make it look like the Terminator from the first movie. So when that's like the best part of the movie, the part that reminds you of the original movie, that's a problem. I don't think there's really a lot of strength in its writing. Nor its directing. This was directed by McG, MCG, which is a stupid name. Is that his like legal name? Does he like sign checks with that name? And he's like, "Hi, it's me, McG." I don't know. Whatever. It's stupid. It's really just kind of off the assembly line, so to speak, type of action movie, which is disappointing because it could have gone to an interesting direction, but instead it just kind of explores the same types of territories that they have before. Like, can a machine really learn the value of human life? It's like, shut up. What else you got? Which this movie doesn't have much else to show, unfortunately. So I don't know. It's a very underwhelming and a very forgettable movie. And for all the potential that it could have had, I'd say this is a huge miss and a huge disappointment. So I'd rate Terminator Salvation 2 stars out of 4. This could have been something special, but instead it's just very by the numbers and forgettable. So I didn't really love it that much. And by the way, whatever happened to Sam Worthington? He was like being tailored to be like this huge star. He was in this, he was in Avatar. I haven't seen much from him lately. I also do know that this was the movie where like Christian Bale had that like infamous on-set freak out, or he's like, oh, fucking cameraman, whatever. So he looks pissed off in every scene of this movie. So maybe he just hated filming this movie, which, his displeasure shows on screen, and we kind of share in that. So I don't know. It could have been a lot better. It has some okay action spectacles, good special effects, but, that just kind of goes to show that it's not everything. So I was disappointed by this movie. Genesis has just been released. I haven't seen it just yet. I haven't heard too much buzz about reviews. I've heard, in general, there's some conflicting reviews, but none saying it's a masterpiece, which is to be expected. I think it doesn't look good, but I do kind of want to see it, and I do want to see it almost for like a morbid kind of way. I want to see how bad it actually is. Can it top how bad Terminator 3 had become, and can it top how bad Salvation is? How ridiculous can it get? But part of me I want to see Arnold back. That he was missed from this movie. He really was. So I mean, this is definitely a skippable entry in the series. What can I tell you? So what do you think? Are there people out there who like this movie? I think most people agree that it sucks. But if you like it, let me know. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Visit Derek237.com. Stay tuned for more reviews and fun stuff like that. And until next time, I'll see you later.